Let me ask you something real quick. Why does she sit in your mind like rent is paid forever? Why is it that no matter what you do, gym, work, scrolling, talking to friends, she just pops back in, almost like your mind refuses to let her go? Most men think it's fate or attraction or some weird soul tie stuff, but no, it's not that magical. It's psychology. And once you understand which psychology, you won't just understand her, you'll understand yourself in a way you never have. And listen, I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to help you finally stop fighting your thoughts and start understanding them. Because a woman doesn't stay in your mind for no reason. There are 4 reasons, and one of them is shaping your entire emotional life without you even knowing. So sit with this. Be honest with yourself. And as we go through each point, ask yourself, is this me? No stories, no excuses, just the truth. First, unfinished business. There's a strange thing the mind does when something ends without actually ending. It keeps replaying it, almost like your thoughts are searching for the missing piece. And that's usually what's happening when a woman refuses to leave your mind. Somewhere between your first moment with her and the last one, something stayed open, and the mind hates open loops. You can call it psychology, memory, whatever. But the truth is simple. When something feels unfinished, your mind keeps trying to complete it. Maybe things between you two didn't end properly. Maybe it wasn't even a relationship, just a connection you didn't know how to handle at that moment. A few long conversations, a spark here and there, maybe a missed chance to tell her what you truly felt. Sometimes it's not even about a breakup. It's about the moment you should have been brave but weren't. That one small moment becomes an echo. It haunts you because you know deep down you didn't show up fully. You might think you're stuck on her, but you're actually stuck on the version of yourself you needed to be back then. Your mind isn't punishing you. It's trying to finish the chapter. And because you never said what you wanted to say, your brain keeps repeating the scenes, hoping one day you'll fix it. It's like a door half closed but never pushed shut. Every time you walk past it, it creaks, reminding you it's still open. The Zeigarnik effect is the simple psychology behind it. The mind remembers things that remain incomplete. It tries to finish them even if it can't. So the presence of this woman in your thoughts doesn't always mean she is the one. Sometimes she's just the one you didn't complete. Now here's where you have to decide who you want to be. You can reach out. You can close it with your words. You can tell her what you felt. You can say what you ran from the first time. Sure, she might not give you the ending you want, but she will give you an ending. And trust me, endings, clear ones, free the mind more than people realize. But maybe you don't want to reach out. Maybe you know the story is over, even if it never had a proper closing line. Then you must give yourself closure. You sit down and say, this chapter was important, but it's over now. And mean it. You breathe out the what ifs, because holding on to a moment that never finished won't open your future. Unfinished business doesn't solve itself. You either close the loop or the loop keeps running your mind. 2, she represents something you're missing. Sometimes a woman lingers in your mind not because she's special, but because of how you felt when she was around. People don't talk about this enough. You meet someone who brings out a side of you that you didn't even know existed, and suddenly your brain attaches her name to that feeling. That's why she stays there. It's not always about her. It's about the part of you she awakened. Maybe you've been going through life feeling dull, unnoticed, or kind of invisible. Then she came along and made you feel seen. And that feeling hits harder than most men admit. She laughs at your jokes. She remembers the small things you say. She gives you attention in a way that makes you feel alive. And without realizing it, she becomes a symbol, a reminder of who you could be, but aren't right now. Or maybe she wasn't about validation. Maybe she brought excitement into a life that felt too predictable. She made you feel brave. She made you feel interesting. Being around her gave you a spark, and now that spark is gone, so your mind tries to pull her back to bring the spark with it. But here's the truth most men avoid. You shouldn't be depending on someone else to activate the best parts of you. This is where it gets tricky, because when you miss her, you're not actually missing her personality, her habits, or even her face. You're missing the emotional experience she gave you. You're missing the energy she brought out of you, the confidence, the warmth, the sense of possibility. A woman becomes unforgettable when she reveals a hidden part of you that you didn't know you had. And now, without her, you feel that part fading. So your mind keeps pulling her back, trying to hold on to that version of yourself. But here's the real work. Ask yourself, what part of me did she awaken that I'm not feeding myself? Because if you don't answer that, she will stay in your head for years. And for the wrong reasons. You don't need her to feel alive. You need to rebuild that version of you on your own. If she made you feel confident, go build a life that gives you confidence. If she made you feel adventurous, stop waiting for a woman to make your life fun. If she made you feel valued, learn how to value yourself from inside, not from attention. When you realize she's just the mirror and not the source, her grip on your mind loosens. And suddenly you see the truth. You weren't addicted to her. You were addicted to who you became around her. 3, the fantasy is better than the reality. This one is tough because it forces you to be brutally honest. Sometimes she doesn't leave your mind because you're not thinking about the real her at all. You're thinking about the fantasy you built. Your mind took the best moments, the sweetest memories, the small signs of affection, and stitched them into a perfect picture. A picture that no real person can live up to. Maybe you only saw her good side, or maybe you ignored the bad. Maybe the connection had great chemistry, but not enough compatibility. But the mind doesn't store people as they are. It stores them as the version that feels good. So now you're stuck not with her, but with your own idea of her. This happens to more men than you think. A woman might have been funny, caring, or charming in some moments, but your brain grabs those highlights and turns them into a love story. You start replaying little things she said, the way she looked at you, that one moment where everything felt perfect. And suddenly your brain decides this is who she is, even if that's not who she actually was. The danger is when you start comparing reality with the fantasy. Because reality always loses. Reality has flaws. It has distance. It has awkward moments. Fantasy doesn't. Fantasy is smooth, attractive, satisfying, and your mind loves something that doesn't challenge it. You might forget the arguments, the mixed signals, the emotional distance, the things she didn't give you, the things you needed but never got. The fantasy version of her never hurt you. The real her did. And this is why she stays in your head, because the version in your head is perfect and perfection is addictive. But you have to do the brave thing and break the illusion. Take a pen and paper. Write down what the real relationship or connection was like. Not the good parts, the full truth. What didn't work? Where did you feel small? Where did she confuse you? What needs did she ignore? When you do this, you rewrite the story in your head. You remove the filter. You see her as a human, not a dream. And once you see a human instead of a fantasy, you stop obsessing. Because humans aren't perfect. They can't fill every gap. They can't match the movie you created in your mind. Most men don't fall in love with a woman. They fall in love with the story they built around her. Once you separate the woman from the fantasy, the attachment fades and clarity comes back. The woman in your mind isn't the one you knew, she's the one you imagined. And once you see the difference, you finally get your mind back. 4, you're avoiding your own life. This is the reason most men don't want to accept, but it's also the one that hits the deepest. Sometimes a woman stays in your mind not because she's special and not because you had a profound connection, but because thinking about her is easier than thinking about yourself. Life might feel heavy right now. Maybe your career isn't where you want it to be. Maybe your confidence is low. Maybe you feel lonely but don't know how to fix it. When a man doesn't feel grounded in his life, his mind searches for something more pleasant to focus on, and often that becomes a woman. Because thinking about her is warm, it's comforting, it feels like maybe, just maybe, something good is still waiting for you. She becomes the escape from your own problems, the soft place you go in your imagination when reality feels too cold. You daydream about conversations that never happened. You replay memories. You imagine what could have been. You build a future with someone who isn't even present. And all of this keeps you distracted from the fact that your life needs fixing, not fantasizing. Here's the part that stings. You're not stuck on her. You're stuck on avoiding your life. It's easier to think maybe she'll come back than it is to ask, why am I not happy with myself? It's easier to cling to a dream than admit that your daily reality doesn't feel fulfilling. You're using her as emotional painkiller, not a partner. But this isn't your fault. The mind always chooses the softer road. It picks comfort over confrontation. But comfort doesn't build men. Facing yourself does. So ask yourself the real question. If my life was exciting, full, and meaningful, would she still be in my mind this much? Probably not, because busy, fulfilled men don't get stuck on someone who left. They're too focused on building something bigger. They're too involved in their goals to replay an old story over and over. The solution isn't to forget her. That never works. The solution is to fill the empty spaces in your own life. Start the project you've been avoiding. Fix your health, improve your skills, strengthen your social life. Create a routine that feels good when you wake up in the morning. Not to impress her, not to make her regret, but to